Well, as per normal, just going to wait a couple of moments. See, that was the funding coming out. Yeah, that's the one, yeah. And retail sales, a little less inflation expected, slightly below expectations. So more pressure than 0.25%, that is a slight difference. And you can see a bit of a jump, but it's not really a jump there and came off again. Yeah, I'm saying it's a bit of an indecisive jump. So it's not quite like the CPI. That's why I said I wouldn't worry too much about doing buy stop, sell stop. If you had to gird it, it wouldn't have done you much good if you had. Where did it open at here? One. Get the buttons pressed right. No, 54. You might have been taken in and it come down again. You wouldn't have been taken on the short, no. So from the NAS anyway. So probably stick with the jobs report CPI. I haven't done any much good doing on that one. Not enough movement of volatility. And it's 4 o'clock now, so we can start. Okay. All right. Hope you have said about the buy stop, sell stop, straddle strategy. Wouldn't done you much good. As you got taken, the thing came off, so wouldn't help you much. Okay. Right. Where are we? Now, it's a bit of a nuisance that come out with 3 because the NAS has come off a bit nicely. The dollar's starting to get some traction on the upside, which made the trade ideas, which should be sent out by the office, the trade ideas we spoke about yesterday. So I like the trade ideas, but the funders don't help my cause, So it might open a little bit up. So it might actually, it might open away. It might get a better price before moving down. I'm not sure it's enough movement there to sustain a bigger upward movement. What I do not like, having mentioned that, is the DXY. I don't like the DXY. It's come down and taken to 102. It's now 101.78. So that's not making our life easier. Sorry if you stopped out on the gold by modifying, you made a profit. But then the damn thing, as in note, that the yields on the note and the DXY started coming off again, which pushed gold up. So where's gold here? Pushed it back up to 20 odd. So I'm sorry if you stopped out and modified stop, some didn't, and then I'll still be in. That's the big question you got to ask. Should I, shouldn't I? I thought it was a good idea at the time. The dollar was strengthening a bit. So rather parking some reasonable profit on it. And it come off, took it out. And then the thing just progressed back up again. So if you didn't modify, great. If you did, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, still made a profit. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about, Gerard. Those trades can be placed up as 4, but you see, it's an advantage of trading. You can see what the score is because you've learned something. You can make that decision. You can see if Apple is higher price and looks like you're moving up. You can then might say, maybe I could hold 5. The DXY is coming off a bit. Maybe she'll hold 5 on that trade before. Let's have a look at it. There's too many guys trading without, with all due respect, not a clue what they're doing, and they'll go in parrot fashion. And they'll go in whatever it opens up without checking it out because they don't have that knowledge. They're still having a go at it, sort of thing. And the problem is the situation could change as it does from a ticky, and it might still come off. But the point is, you can make that decision because you've taken the trouble to come here. The majority of people don't, and that's sort of getting called out. I had a guy just now, actually very sweet, nice enough guy, and he went on a 500 on leverage, less than 500 rands account, and he went with 2 micros, and wondered why it was nowhere near a stop. He got kicked out because he had no idea he was so utterly, grossly overexposed. Just to start moving on the Dow, pick it up at 3, clear just knocked him out. I mean, clearly. So yeah, these sort of things you wouldn't be doing in here. You wouldn't be trying to go into the Dow with 2 micros and a 200 or 300 rand account. You just know better. You get in trouble, and that's what I'm trying to get people to increase their knowledge and competency if they're going to try and trade on a highly sophisticated international trading derivatives markets, you know. And yeah, like I say, it doesn't seem to really have that much effect. It has popped up and maybe get more action on opening, but I'm not sure it seems to be. I can't tell at the moment. I think most of the guys now wait for 4:30 out there. So we'll see how it opens and make our decision then. But luckily, we're in a position to do it here. Those guys, unfortunately, will jump in willy-nilly, whatever, I don't know, or put sell stops in or something to get a worse price. I don't know. It's pretty scary sometimes, I can tell you. Anyway, so we'll see. We shall see. But remember, it's more or less expected that it's going to be 25 basis points now. That had a little bit, but it wasn't major. The CPI is the real one because that's the consumer. The other one's the producer. And the consumer dictates, clearly. Okay, so that was all clear. So now we got some trades out this morning, as you know. Not neither of mine, but I like to have to say that my attention was drawn to them by a certain Mr. Slubbert, and of course Brady. I'll start with the NZD. Well, up here now. I'll start with this one. Start yours going first. Did okay actually. Came right down to here, didn't it? Where is this? What are we on now? 15 minutes. It came when we in this year. It came right down here, and even took out 64 at one stage. It was doing brilliantly. We got in at did pretty well. We got in at 30. He's doing nicely, and then decided to pop up, then pop down, and you know, normal story. Okay, but anyway, it's in profit. That's the main thing. NZD CHF, where did we get in on that one? That was Brady's 48. NZD CHF, that was doing okay. Still okay, but again, he came right down here. He even touched, nearly touched, didn't touch the round figure. Psychological round figure, yeah. Well, closes down at 4 pips, and it bounced up. That's coming up again. So it's in profit, but at one stage it's about 45 pips in profit. Now it's about what, just under 20, or about near 18 pips in profit, something like that. So at least it's in profit. It's the main thing. We just mentioned now has been doing okay. S&P's probably gone up a little bit, but if you're in that short from the other day, it's not gone up much, so I wouldn't panic on that. What else? The dollar ZAR seems to be hovering around. A little bit of dollar weakness forced it down a bit, but anyway, you're going to stick with the trade. Those that took it, very few people did. Wasn't my idea anyway. So somebody else's. Ashes Brady's, yeah, good. Some people might have been AUD USD. No, sorry, I'm talking rubbish. Sorry, the USD CHF sell. I think that might have hit TP. That's going back from last week. I think that might have hit TP. That's continued down. So I think you should be out of that one. So Ed, I don't know if anyone's still in. Most people might not be in. They might have modified or taken profit or whatever. But anyone, and I don't think it was sent out, or was it? I can't remember. So I think it's just a trade. But anyone still in it, obviously modify your stop loss accordingly. But I think I've lost under the paperwork here. I think it might hit TP, so that's not too bad either. Okay. I think so. I think so. We got the strategy there. Stick with it. That's a good point. Too much strategy. What's under GBP CHF? It's popped up again. It was doing quite. No, that's better. Doing quite well earlier on. You see, it came right down here. I'm on the 15-minute. No, on the daily. Sorry. Came right down here at one stage, looking pretty good. Hey, no, that's rubbish. How did it come down? GBP CHF 1.1 up to 1.1. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so it's doing quite well at one stage, and now it's popped back up again, but it's still not quite was in profit, as you know. Nice in profit. Some guys might be so tired they took their profit and ran. But if you're still in that one, again, I think goes back to Friday, I think, if I remember rightly. It's all right, it's a negative now, but not as bad as it was earlier on. And some guys were saying, should we take it, move up here, it's not looking pretty. And so we got your strategy, stops up there, you worked it out. That's the whole idea of the strategy. stick with it. And he was in profit at one stage. I think I'm not sure, some guys might have panicked and taken the profit, and probably looking back just as well. But if you're still in it, go with it. So it goes back NZDCHF, go back to that one. Yeah, it still seems okay. Let's look at the 15-minute, let's look at the hourly. Popping up, and then it's popping down. Who knows? I can't tell where the next bit's going to come from. Look at that, I can't tell. CAD JPY, let's look at it now. I mean, I have some idea, look at it just now, but I mean, you can't tell. I mean, let's go back to the AUD, what's the next one? AUDCHF. Has it moved up or down since we last looked at it a few months ago? I have no idea. Nobody does. Could have mentioned that. So that's why I have to check it out. The market's made of millions of people, plenty of buyers and sellers, all variable strategies and emotions and all long, short term, you name it, everything. All sorts of differences. But so I don't know, but I'd say stick with them. You got your stock to protect. Can't panic every moment, I reckon, anyway. Good afternoon, Nick. Okay, so that's the one. Okay, going back to the trades, you probably, I'm told they were posted, the trades we talked about yesterday. We have what's called a WhatsApp trading support WhatsApp, not you guys, us guys there. I placed them on there, and a couple of guys said they like them or whatever. And then because it comes from a qualified person, they can't send them out. It has to be myself, okay? So because it comes qualified, they can say, no, I can't, whatever. The office does that, and then they will send it out to you guys. I don't send it anymore. They'll send it out to you guys. I'll just do the updates, and you'll get those signals. Some to the VIP. You'll get more signals to the VIP group than the non-VIP, clearly. And they'll send it out. And I'm assuming they've said they would send out about 4. Why they send out a little bit late? Because they're tired of people calling up and jamming the switchboard saying, there's something on MD5, I can't place it. Because again, they're trading with absolutely zero knowledge. I mean, you know, how can you trade and not know different than a share in a forex? What a different CAD is when you're trading with real money. Not much at my head, but still, it's not the point, you know. So to save all that admin hassle, we'll send a little bit later. And then if they call back or whatever, just say wait till 4:30. So having said that, you should receive them and then you can see how they operate. So what we do, we're going to sit still for the moment and then see if we can get a decent entry on opening. If it jumps up a little bit, we can look at the NAS, and if the NAS is hovering around and coming off, you're getting a better price than the signal, getting a higher TP and reduced risk, take it. Anybody not understand what I'm talking about? I can speak a little bit quickly, I do beg your pardon. It's the only sodding language I've got, I'm afraid. So I do waffle on a bit quickly. But have you got the concept? We can look at it and then make our judgment on opening. If we get a better price, what a pleasure. Same price, that's okay. Slightly worse price, then you can make your choice whether to chase it or not. All clear on that? If not clear, I'll try and slow down and speak a little bit more clearly. Thanks, Solid. Everyone who's been in the trading for a while should be on what I've been talking about. All should be on it. The newer guys might have to run it by again. No problem with that. Okay. Most of the guys, I think, we're caught on that. Just arrived, have you? No, just saying that the on the funding side, the retail sales, core and the other retail sales and the core retail sales came out, and the PPI came out slightly less than expected, slightly less inflationary. So a slight jump, a slight fall in the dollar and a jump in the what you call them, the NAS, etc. So Herald quite rightly asked, would that affect opening? It could do, but we'll just see on opening and make our judgment there. So where's it now? 20 minutes time. Just give me a second so I don't forget. Put an alarm in, put it for 18 minutes time. A second, so I don't get waffling on to something else, eh? And then we'll take it from there. Should blare an alarm at me, and then that's fine. Okay, and then we'll take it from there. All right. Okay, so yeah, so there it is. Anything else I want to discuss with you? If it comes all right, I think Tesla can look at as well. I like to look at Goldman Sachs, as mentioned by Annie yesterday, and even look at Netflix. But look at a few, depending if we get some guide after a few months after opening. Okay. All updated on that, Keone? All clear on that? The S&P, I'm not sure it's in the four, it's an enormous company. It'll be on the Dow as well, because it's so large, but definitely in the S&P. As I say, people say it's a cheap share. Not cheap share, that's the value. I'll give you an example. What do I mean by that? I've got a R1,000,000 property. I can offer 100,000 shares at 10 Rand each, or 1,000,000 shares at 1 Rand each. And I decide I'm going to offer 1,000,000 shares at 1 Rand each. It doesn't say it's cheaper than the 10 Rand share. It just means I've issued more of them. So don't forget that. It's still an enormous company. And that's why I looked at Tesla and Google and Amazon. They did a share split. It starts going up and up and up. Then the retail market can't afford them. So they might give 10 for the price of one. They do a share split. So, yeah, so you'll understand that. Yes, S&P is the biggest, but the Dow, for some reasons, grabs some imagination. And the NAS, since COVID's grabbed a lot of imagination. The S&P is the biggest. It's got all those companies plus more. It's the top 500. The Dow's 30, as you know, the NAS is 100. And you have the NAS Composite, which is 3,000. It's non-financials, but it's got a few others. Obviously, a lot of it's tech stock, but it's not completely, utterly exclusive to it. But it doesn't have financials in it, just for your interest. Very much a blue chip. Well, it used to be. I mean, things happen now. If electric cars take off, unless they get on board with it, then they might be out of date. But yeah, they are very much a blue chip. Okay, right. CAD JPY came flying back. One guy went in short. Don't was on this, was he? No, I'm not sure. I won't mention names anyway. He had more bloody nerve than I did, and he sold it short. I think it's strategy. It went up so high, it must come off. Could do, not necessary, but a profit take it might do. Anyway, when put his money where his mouth is, he did very well out of it. I would have chickened out on that one. But anyway, that means it may have come off. And I'm actually looking at maybe a possible buy coming in here. I think it's gone right up, but is the Canadian still so weak? For some reason. Is the Japanese, as I mentioned before, it's popped up nearly 260 pips and it's come back down again. Is that going to be sustained? It's right back on support. I'm wondering if we can't look at another CAD JPY one. As I said before, I don't see why the Japanese yen should suddenly want to be strong. It doesn't. I've mentioned that many times. I think it's come back to maybe look for another buy on this one. Anyone like to look at another buy on this one? You've all hit the TP. What a pleasure. Maybe another buy on it.
I think so, Roger. My only concern is the fundamentals that was announced on Canada Raw Materials Price Index. That was way below the expectation at minus 3.1.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And the other thing I'd find a bit of a negative as well, tend to follow the dollar a bit, and the dollars has come off a bit. So from that point of view, I 100% agree with you, Farley. And the other thing is a little bit of a negative. If it shot up that far, why has it suddenly come off so bloody quickly? So that is a little bit of a worry. So yeah, from that point of view, I take your point entirely. I still see some upside. We can put a tight stop, maybe 60, 70 pips away. It's fairly tight. And then really take it back up there again. We'll get a 2-to-1 back up there. Yeah, I take your point. That funding was a bit of a worry in my mind. Okay, I'm putting that together, Farney. Sorry, I've got a bit of a rubber arm there, twisting my arm a bit. I do like the long still, but maybe, just maybe let it settle down a bit. Let's look at the short term. Not going to tell me much on the weekly. That is holding. That's a plus. Okay, go to the 4 hour. Doesn't tell you much there, but it seems to be holding. Let's try the hour. Not telling you anything at all there. Not telling you. No, we haven't got enough momentum afterwards. Okay, yeah. Taking that in consideration, thanks for your interjection. But on top of it, even then come in, I think I still prefer at least an hour or 15 minutes of some green candle out there on the short term for confirmation. There doesn't seem much evidence of many buyers coming in as yet. So yeah, I think, all right then, I like it, keep an eye on it, we'll come back to it later and see if we, unless you want to go aggressively now, of course, maybe just wait till you get a bit of confirmation. Okay, but I have to say, I do fancy go myself, but that's aggressive. If you want to have a go, we'll put it up. If you want to be a little bit more prudent and wait, you can do. We haven't seen anything coming in yet, or it's right down there. And it's broken through on the 15-minute, not the 15-minute tells you a hell of a lot. Could even come back down there a bit. What's that? It's only 40 odd pips. 5 minutes, getting desperate here. Now, there's not much evidence bias, Cody. I think, surprisingly, it's not. I see the potential there, but I think we'll just be a bit more prudent. Hold on. The fundies are again stuffing us around, and I'm looking at my DXY. I know it's not Canada, but it's in the following, and it's now 101.74. So it's come off quite a bit in the last few hours. So maybe just sit still on that and not get too cute, and just concentrate on the half a dozen particular shares we got up. We've also got Microsoft as well, not Meta, I mean, and GS to look at, and Netflix and Tesla. Yeah, so we've got a couple others to look at as well, see what happens there. Okay. Don't modify your stop there, so jumping too much. Sorry about that, Kuoni, on your gold. It came off, I think it might have been stopped out on the modified stop. The thing when it popped up again. I'm sorry about that. I thought I'd getting, because it's going up so much the dollar, I thought, well, I'll protect some profit. Maybe in hindsight, it should have been 1905, not 1910, the modified stop loss. You made a couple of bucks, but you're missing out now. Very sorry about that. But then again, if you had continued and you'd left your stop at 1905 and 1900 or even below, and it had come off to 1870, some analysts thought it might happen, then you'd turned your profit into a negative, you would have been happy. So, yeah, so you made money, but you missed out on it. Is it going to continue up to 1930? We shall see. It looks like it's heading there. So you're not on board, I'm sorry, but we'll give it back. And some of the guys don't know about that, will not have modified, and other times that winner would have turned to a loser. So, you know, that's the best way to look at it. So, okay. So those are stopped out this morning on the gold. I'm sorry about that, because I to modify it, but anyway. Jacob, I know what you got in your account. The banner sent out to everyone to try and sort of whet their appetite, signals being sent. But if you haven't got 500 rand or more, you won't get any of them. And if you've got 2.5 grand, you'll get all of them. So I don't know what you got in your account. I mean, you can tell me if you like, because I'm not going to look it up now in the trading room. But in theory, it should have been posted. So us, I know who does have that as part of the system is Fani. Have you received any of those CFD signals as yet? You have, Anna-Marie. Good. Anybody? Okay. Yeah, it's $1 more than the rand. I still see a weak rand overall, but it's coming off. Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. It's the dollar weakness pushing it down. Just see if we can still hold on to it. But anyway, okay, that's fair enough then. You're through. Thanks, guys. So if you haven't received them, you probably haven't got the correct amounts, and you'll never receive them on the demo account, ever, ever, ever. The demo, I repeat again, as we're waiting to go in there, it's for learning how to operate the platform, use strategies. That's why we're very strict. I have it for a month, and that's it. This guys evermore wasting their time, our time, everyone complaining, saying this, why can't do that, and find on the demo. The demo is Mickey Mouse money. It's just there to learn. It's not there to trade with. Okay, so right, so good. So that answers my question. Okay, Jacob, I don't know what you got in your account, but if you haven't received them and you got the money I meant in your account, WhatsApp me and I'll sort it out afterwards and make sure you get them. But they got quite a fancy new system to pay a lot of money for, where they check the bounce automatically, and you put in 2,500 or above, and they automatically, even if you heard from me, automatically now get it. But I heard of them, I'll give you the updates as well. So anyone drops below it won't get all of them, but if it's above 500, you'll get some of them. If you've got less than that, you'll get in. Occasionally, you'll get some banners to whet your appetite, but not the details. And quite frankly, you're less than 500 rand, you're wasting your time. Completely, utterly wasting your time. I'll give you an idea how much you waste your time on. The pros, not the people who don't know what they're doing. I'm talking the pros. On a look ongoing, on, you know, you get higher and lower returns, you never know. But they try and aim at over a year around about a 50% return. Let's say you got 500 rand in your account. Over a year, that's 250. That's 20 rand a month or 1 rand a day. So they don't want to work for 1 rand a day. And that's when you know what you're doing. It's not worth it. So you need to get the capital. If you haven't got the capital, because you haven't got the confidence, fair enough. If you're going to try and start working hard and expect returns on the capital for a meal out for 2 without drink, well, I don't know. The maths is somewhere incorrect. Okay, so I hope you all understand that. Yeah, because I cannot really sort of explain it. It should be utter bloody obvious that some people don't seem to see it. And it's quite frustrating at times. I want to buy this house. I've only got £2,000. Can you help me? What? It's very harsh, but it stuns me. Okay, well, you've got to have the money to do business. That's what we fight for. To make money without it, why is everyone working? What would be the point? Hi, Marius. Yeah, you're doing okay today, but you've got more nerve than me. I'm not discussing, not allowed to, but you know what I mean. You've got more nerve than me, my friend. Well, bloody done. But I think the Canadian came off so much, a couple of fundies or whatever. But hey, well, bloody done on that. Yeah, you need you need gonads, what do you call it for this business? Hey, well done. Yeah, well, I don't know why you knocked out the NZDCHF, if you don't mind me saying that, because I still think it's got a chance. Was hovering a little bit, but anyway, it's up to you. By the way, just a little bit of a tip here for everybody. If Signal says get in at 59.50, for argument's sake, and goes down to 59.15, be pretty comfortable with the trade if you're going to add to that position. So I have no problem adding to a winning position, but be fairly comfortable about it. Okay, so yeah, just be careful. But nothing wrong as long as you're getting a long way away from the next hurdle. Now, you're selling short, it's flying off here, and it's doing well. No one adding to your position to go short. But if you got just down here, now that's a long way away. Yeah, let's say it's 20 pips away. If actually short, you've got a hurdle in 20 pips time, it might not be worth it. GBP AUD, we sure can. Right, the pound's a funny creature, so I trade it a lot of times. It's a bit wary of it, but in theory, I would say technically speaking, technically speaking, I would say there's a possibility of some downside there. What about this? No, not because you're buying if it's downside. Sorry, you're buying AUD. It's right way around. Yeah. So I'm seeing possibly some downside. So why am I hesitating on that? Why do you think? Anybody there? That's quite a lot. Sorry, I thought I'm hesitating because it's only about 30 pips. Bloody hell, 150 pips. Wow. So 44 pips, a bit of a problem. It's not a lot of follow through, but then I look at that, and yes, it's more follow through than I thought. That was the wrong reason. I thought, it doesn't look much follow through there before it hits the bottom of the range. But 115 pips is pledge. Yeah, maybe a little bit higher. Stop maybe there, about a 60 pips stop. And take it down here. Yeah, you get your risk to reward, all right. Not too bad, eh? Yeah, I know that, Morris. I know that. I would be nervous to trade it, I must admit, because it's a bit of sort of an intermediary type of thing. I think it's a better price now near the top of the range, but you went for it, well done. But the only trouble is, of course, I have to be honest, sticking that do well, but stick your neck out sometimes, it can come off. Just remember that. Can get costly. Anyway, back to this one. You're looking a long, are you? Okay, you want to go for a long. Well, I'm looking maybe a bit of downside here. It's in between 100 and the 200 at the moment. I'm not sure I'm going to buy the pound against the Aussie myself. I think there's a bit of chance here, a bit of downside. And there's a bit of follow through down there. Long, well, it hasn't broken here yet, so you're going to aim there as your target, which is about 30 off, maybe push to 35 pips away, and you stop down here. Well, 100 pips stop. I'm not sure about that. I'm looking for possibly a short here. Right, Pete thinks a bit of a long here. Some people think leave it alone. Let's have is it nearly half past? We'll have to go over this now, but we come back and discuss that with the buyer of short. 79.02. That's above here as well. Well, you might be lucky. I personally not sure about that. I'm looking for possibly a short here. Some guys might leave alone, some guys long. You've done that before. Well done, Marius. He went long AUD USD. I was a short, and I didn't do many favors. It might still be in there actually. Stop loss is a bit higher, but certainly did yourself, Marius. You have the currency convictions, well done, and you do okay with it, well done again. So yeah, we'll come back. Just about the time to go over to 1/2 opening, but we'll come back and look at this. But as I say, I'm angling on the downside. You're angling on the upside, see how the others feel, and we can maybe get 2 trades, one long, one short, see how they pan out. 1 hour pleasure, yep. Doesn't really tell me a heck of a lot, to be honest. It's popped up there and come off, and it's popped up. It still hasn't finished yet. Remember, it might end up there. Still got 1/2 an hour or so to go. Doesn't seem to be moving much into moving anybody where actually, but I think maybe possibility. I think we'll have to come back to it because, as I say, we're going to go over to the opening, the US opening. Okay. So write it down in the comments, and we'll come back to it afterwards and see if you guys want to buy it or sell it. Good stuff. Okay, let's see what happens now. Come on, get going, mate. You've been out 10 seconds, get moving. Pips in 10 seconds. Give an idea what I'm talking about. We've gone 1 minute so far, and it's moved 23 pips. That's $2.30. What's that? It's about 35 rand, slightly more, about 40 rand. That's it's about 10% in less than a minute on a 400 rand account to get an idea of the volatility. That's why you can't trade it. Okay, we might have to look for a weighting on these other grids. Starting off with Apple. The entrance was at 135.89. So clearly it's jumped up. So because of what we discussed, that's why the advanced trading room. Okay, go to Google if you want, but I thought it might be an idea to wait a bit, get a better price, because clearly watch what the Nasdaq's doing is push it up a bit. Let's go to slightly 1 hour chart. Holding there, holding there, holding there. You might get a slightly better price, so you get more shares for your money. Hope you're all with me on this. It's basic arithmetic here. You know, if it's $4 a share instead of $5, okay, you get more shares for your risk, clearly. But yeah, is that going to be sustained? You might want to wait a few more minutes. Is it going to come off or not? That's the question. Okay. So that bounced up a bit, but this we don't know. It depends on what sort of happened, the fund is, etc. Let's have a look. What else we got? Amazon wanted to get in on. Hold on if you're in, obviously. 96.33 on Amazon. About $1 better price, so it's $1 further TP, which is good, and $1 less risk. So before it's $7, now it's only about $6.50 a share risk. Just what was the other one? Just a second. Oh, it's Google. That's right. I just mentioned. Sorry. Before the entrance was 91.05, which is about $382 risk per share. 91.05. To go in now, it's only about $2.70 per share your risk will be coming off. So if you're in, hold it. Looks like you might be okay. All right. What's the decision about entering? Very difficult to call. It's sort of the NAS again. This way, you're going to be jumping around quite quickly. Got to be a busybody. Not really maintaining the upside, is it? Let's go to the daily. It's not maintaining this area here. So it might be worth going for. I think it's worth going for. So go to Apple. You got all ready to rock and roll. I think you might be all right in Apple. It's a bit close if you're still in. 1915. Oh, is it? What's gold? Don't want to get too close, get stopped out. You're still in. Oh, it's $10. It should be fine. Looks like it's heading to tea. What a pleasure. Good enough. Well done, brother. Get the idea. You've got to Google, it should be fine. So there you are. It might pop up a bit. Where's a bit of resistance? A long way away, but the stop's above there anyway. Oh, it's only $1.80 away. It stops up here, son. So it should be fine. Hopefully. Okay, so if you want to do the Apple, do those trades, you get slightly better price. You can go for it if you like. Okay. All good? Any questions? You're an Apple man and always will be. Okay, so if you want to go to those three, I think it should be okay. I don't see the sustained rally. Oh, that's been discounted in the market, don't forget. Mind you, the bloody dollar still weakening. Oh, whoa. I thought he'd come back to 100 something, not quickly. Probably would have jumped as well. Steve, has it jumped much? That's it jumped a bit. That's not a problem. Stick around with it. Going to panic if you're going too big, but you get your volumes right. It's not a panic. It's only 10 cents. Remember, it's $1 stock. Okay, so let's see how they go. We'll go to Meta now. Meta looked at, some guys liked it 136. It's holding there, it's only 80 cents above, so that's fine. It wasn't sent out to trade idea. There's a reason for it. We don't want to send out too many because guys get confused and try all of them and overexpose. Remember, it's only a small percentage try to take the trouble to come to TR. So even if they've got the money, they don't understand it, get the wrong volumes, overexposed, get margin call. So we kept a couple back. Maybe if they're still good, we'll send them again tomorrow. Okay, but trade room are special TR Marines, so we can look at them here. No problem at all. We can look in an informed way, not a guesswork way. Well, it's guesswork, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I still like the Meta trade as a short. Try the weekly. Don't have to change my mind on it. Still like it as a short. I think it's a good one, the short. Put the stuff out yesterday. I'll put it out again with the same stop loss and TP if you like it. If you're in already, obviously stay with it. Don't touch it. But this is giving you a slightly better one. So you get in now at market. What's that? 1.635. Sell. That is sell. Just to make sure we've all got that. Meta. SL. Where are we now? Just 143.50. 5 and TP 117. Is that right? Yeah, on the dot. Okay. The risk, I'll just work the risk out now. It's 137, probably 137.40, probably 137.50. There we are. 137.50, 143.50 is $7. Is that right? So it's $7. That's about 120. $7. 77.49. Yeah, 120. It happens the shares be 1.0 and I get a Forex put 1.0. People say, I can't get in. Yeah, so the Meta, if you like it, you're not in, there you are. If you're in, stay with it. Not much of a better price, but slightly better. Microsoft wasn't sent out, so let's have a look at Microsoft. Again, quite a bit better price here, and it's holding on there. So this is a nice one. So I'll do the Microsoft for you guys as well. Should we stick to the same stock? Maybe even wider. Took Microsoft, clearly holding. Oh, we'll stick to the same one, same stock. So Microsoft, MSFT dot P, was it now 2040, 240 rather, point, what's that, 35, call it. SL 246.70, use the ones of yesterday, still good enough. TP 222.60, and that risk is, what's that now? 246.70. That's 730 on 740. Okay, it's about 740. $7.4, which is what that's about 130 rand per 1.0. You like that one? Okay, there you are. If you like that, you can work your stuff out on that one. Goldman Sachs, we can look at that as well. If you haven't got free margin, you can't do it. Doesn't matter. You might choose one to the other. That's your choice. Goldman Sachs, is it bounced a bit? Once it's bounced a bit, yeah, it's bounced up to that. Still got a few problems there. So we can do a Goldman Sachs where we can put the stop up here. Need a fair bit of weight, so make it a little bit more. Make it 365.80. Or better. Remember, it's always enter or better. If it's a higher price, it's a better price, clearly. SL, what's it? 365.60. 365 point, make it 62. And TP, what's the TP on it? 231. Risk is $14 a share, or 240, 1.0. There's the Goldman Sachs if you want to sell that as well. Remember, it's a higher stock, it's a $350 share. Remember, that's about nearly $6 grand a share in our money. Okay, goodies, nice enough. Okay, oh, Tesla, must forget our good friend Tesla. Anything happening there? Yeah, seems to reach a bit of a high there. Tesla, where can we put the stop? $4. With a decent stop, it's such a big mover. That's a highly volatile one. If you feel uncomfortable with it, don't do it. Highly volatile. So possibly a downside on that one. Anyone want to look at Tesla? That is highly volatile. But I think there's a short possibility on that one. Hang on. On the 4 hours, not looking pretty. Hang on. What's the weekly say? Not a lot. Okay. The 4 hours, a bit of a problem. It's opened above the 4 times 50. So they're going to be taken out. So hang 5 on Tesla. There's enough out there. Keep that in the tank for maybe, we can look at that tomorrow. If it breaks back down, you take it back down. So leave Tesla for the time being. Okay, where's your friend F-stop now? That's still come back off a couple of cents, so let it do its thing. Right, is GS right? I hope so. It's a sell, I put down there. GS, a sell on GS. I've got to put a sell on GS stop. What to put that in? Right, let's go back to it then. Have I got the figures right? Write it down quickly because the thing's moving. Taking that out. If you haven't got any, maybe wait a bit. It's popping up a bit. I had to stop right up here somewhere. 360. Stop 365.62. Yeah. Sorry. That one I put down. I'm trying to write and look across two screens and the thing's moving. 331. There's not 231. Thank you. So you got to think and watch out for typos. I try not to do them. I'm sorry it happens, especially if things are moving quickly. It's quite a common sense got to look at. Thanks for that. All right. Thanks for being on the ball there. Now, if I've got a TP there and a stop loss, you know, over $100 away, clear it's a typo. Quite right. Thanks for spotting it. Yeah, just sorry, guys. Excuse me. I've got a little boy from my mum. Okay. I can check that now. Check that now. Okay, so yeah, where were we? Goldman Sachs, yeah, there if you want it, put it out there. I think put it. I'm gonna put it up there. They're out there anyway. Okay, right. Just before we look at it, before we modify, I can wait for a moment, not jump in a new one on that. So just look at the AUD CHF. What's happening there? It's coming off again. What do we get in at? 30. It's a bit close. I just want to see if we can break through that 64 round figure first. It's only 25 pips away. It can pop up, stop you out, and go down again. The good news is on the fifth. Let's do the hour. Probably slightly better. The good news is the high hasn't taken out. This is a 33. That high didn't. Well, maybe it did. I don't know. It's trying to break through. It's up to you. If you want to go into entry, you can do it. I just think 25 is a bit close. It might just pop up. It's up to you anyway. But I think my fine. Don't want to get to 60-40 and then come flying off there. Well, that's up to you. Anyway, you got my answer on that one. Make your decision accordingly. This one, a little bit closer again. What price do we get in? I think 48, said Brady. 21, so just over 20 pips away. If you sold it, so you get it out on the ask or the buy, that's only 23 pips away. So it's trying to break through. I'll give you a due. It's trying to break through. Don't just wait a bit. Don't get the stop too tight. It's very frustrating. Get stopped out and you make 10 pips and it flies in your direction. You've made over 100. So yeah, keep an eye and we'll come back later if you spot it doing that direction. Okay. Hope that answers your question. Let's go back and just check what the NAS is doing on the 15-minute. It's trying to come off a bit, which is good news. So let's check the ones. Has Apple come off a bit? It's trying to, so we'll see what happens there if you got in on it. Let's go through them all. Amazon. Trying to come off a bit. So if you got in, that's so far okay. We'll see what happens. Bit early to get too carried away. Google. So what Google means, 1 to the power of 100, an impossibly large figure. So if you didn't know, now you know. But then we got in that, but I think it's hovering, so probably about the same. Meta. That seems to be coming off a little bit. Let's look at Meta on here. That seems to be coming off a bit. And Microsoft. Yeah, that's definitely come off a little bit, so that's not too bad. And our good friend F-Stop, a little bit up, but it's not a major train smash at the moment. Okay, gold's coming off a bit, so it's 90.50 might be wise. And it nearly got there, nearly got the TP. The dollar's moved up a little bit, not much. And yeah, hang on, the yields are still pretty low, so it might just pull back for another move up on the gold. So hang fine. Might hit TP. Keep your fingers crossed. Okay, gone through fairly quickly. We've got a lot of action. Some of it sounds quick, but when a lot on happening at the time, one has to sort of speed things up, unfortunately. So I hope you got most of that. And I don't want to be farting around looking at one and then missing half a dozen others, and you wouldn't be happy. So just to see how that works out. Okay. Yeah, so Netflix, another one I'll be looking down the line. Things getting overbought. I'll probably leave, well, I'm pretty sure we'll leave it for now. Yeah, leave that for now. And I think we might have an opportunity later on to maybe get that if it comes off a bit. We'll see. But I'm still sticking with the overall picture, solar at it. Okay. Now, this is a good point here, isn't it? Absolutely. You mentioned this before. If that bloody yields come off, the dollar keeps coming on towards 100, why would you want to be at 1930, 1950? The next stop, my friend. Stay on board. All aboard. Magical mystery tour, the Beatles say. Absolutely, no problem there. Absolutely, modify your stop with pleasure. Absolutely. Okay, been a bit hectic the last few moments, so I'm taking a bit of a breather and ask you guys. Oh yes, the CAD JPY. Anything you want to look at? It seems to be starting. Is there any confirmation of buyers coming in? Is that enough for you to convince you? Is that enough to convince you to try and take a buy on this one? And it's holding there on the weekly. So we'll come back to Canadian. Oh no, we'll come back to saying another one you want to look. GBP AUD to discuss. That's right. Some guys wanted to buy it. Some guy, well, I wanted to sell it. What we got on shorter term one. Doesn't tell you much there, does it? Okay. But anyway, we'll go back to the original daily one. I thought the possibility of maybe some downside here. Yeah, absolutely. Patience is difficult. And believe me, I know what I'm talking about. It's a discipline and patience about as tough as it gets in this business. You might laugh at, I've said this before, the problem with this business is it's fun. And when it's fun, you relax, the emotions take over. You know, you've got to think of it as a business and sometimes take a calm down pill, you know. Terrible thing to say about life. As soon as it's fun, it usually comes back and smacks you, right? It should be the other way around. Okay, I'm looking at this as a short. Pete's idea was for long. So, guys, who wants to go long? Who wants to go short? Who wants to leave it alone? That's we can discuss this. We've got different forms of opinion here. Leave it alone, Anna Marie. Okay, that's fine. Anyone short? Anyone long? I've voiced my case. Pete's mentioned what he likes. Somebody agreed with him. So let's see what you guys think. You got a choice: do squat, ILIA, or buy or sell it. I've got a couple of LIAs. Anything else? I'm not hearing anything else. Anybody else? Some quiet people there. What about you, Euland or Gabriel or Bawani or Pinkana? What do you think? Can't leave it all up to Bawani, Solly, Anne Marie, and the rest of them. What do you think? If you want to make money, you've got to interact and get stuck in and make it fun. Leave it alone. The consensus seems to be rather not get too cute. Jail, Peter, what do you think?
Raj, it seems like the 100 days is holding, so definitely a sell. But do we need a little bit more confirmation with that long weeks?
Yeah, well, I agree on the sell. I'm not sure what confirmation you're looking at. You put a stop up here, and it wasn't there since, what was that? Since the 5th of January. What's that, about a couple of weeks ago, hey? And then take it down here. You should just about squeeze a 1.5 at it, just about on the edge of 1.5 risk reward, or a slightly tighter stop, say here of 70, and you'll definitely get a risk down there. Is it trying to move up as we speak? That's for the buy. That's for the sellers. There might be a few buyers there. Bit of indecision there. I'm leaning towards the seller. I agree, but I've extreme empathy with the leave it alone. But I have my extreme doubts about the buy. Short, but leave it alone. Yeah, leave it alone or shorts, yeah. But I'm not too sure about the buy on this one. Sorry, Pete, that's my opinion. Don't leave me alone and go off and get upset now. Don't get a bottle of whiskey and drown your sorrows now. But yeah, okay. So leave alone is a consensus. So I'm teasing. Right, okay. Sorry, Pete. Looks like the leave alone is overweight. Leave it alone. I've got now. I forgot what we were talking about just now. What were we talking about just now? It was a particular trade. Completely forgot. Can you remind what we were talking about before we jumped to the GBP AUD? Completely forgot. Oh, it's CADJPY. See, we're trying to move up. What do you think, guys? Do you want to buy this? See, starting to get some, yeah. Just come off the heck up, gone up a lot, come back up. Maybe another go. What do you think? A TR special. For you, special price, okay.
I'll go for a buy.
You're going to go for a buy. We're going to put a stop below here. So make an 80 pips stop. How's that sound? I'll do it. And then where do you want to take it? You want to take it right back up there again? Make it there, okay? Make it there. 188 pips. Bloody hell, that's all right. 97.70. Make it 97.50. That's not too cute. Don't forget, as Mr. Keone said quite clearly there, you can always modify the stop. Or as Solly said, you can put the stop up there. It doesn't matter because you always modify till you get stopped out anyway. But just to see if it's a decent risk reward, and then I'm not to worry about the TP till it gets near there. The reason more classical on it, we've got a lot of guys there who tend to say follow without fully understanding why. But for guys in trade room, we can, we can bend the rules a little bit because we know the score. Before we do Brent, which I wasn't keen, it might change my mind. I haven't looked at it for a few hours. Couldn't get a trade earlier on. We might have a look at it now. Brady likes it. Farney likes it. NK likes it. So it is going to go down. 95.80. Should have been very aggressive earlier on, eh? You just said in hindsight. 95, 94.89. That's the other one, 97.50. Okay. Okay, see how that goes.
Okay, I'm in. Thanks.
Thank you. Brent. Right, so you're looking for this as a buy. Now, what is the problem with that? On the weekly, it's looking good, but it's got resistance on the weekly. Let's crunch it a bit. We'll zoom out a bit, probably the more technical, correct way. But not much, but a bit of resistance there. Definitely a bit of resistance there on the daily. So the 4 hour. Well, it's broken out in the 4 hour from these levels here. I get that point. Well, I didn't tell you anything at all. So, okay, come out the daily. Right. So, if you're going to go for long on this one, not confirmed, I'll give you, I'll say one thing. You need really about, because you need about a $4 stop. You can squeeze a little bit less. In this case, definitely $4 below that. So you're going to look at least $7 upside. So you're going to take it for $7 to make it worth your while. You've got to aim for this sort of level here, which is possible, 95. It is possible. It's just purely in my head, this. My only issue with this, that I don't think with all the recession, all the problems, all the debt we've got at the moment, the world will stomach a $95 oil price or above $90 oil price for very long before astronomical pressure, again, we put on the producers. And remember, as I said before, it's only the Democratic voting PC pressure that they shut the Keystone Pipeline, but it can only be reopened again. Then they've got more output. And then the pressure on the Saudi, Qatar, and Dubai, and whoever else exports the bloody stuff, Iran, they haven't taken notes, so let's ignore them, to maybe increase OPEC, should we say, to increase a bit of production, to bring it down because they don't want it there. So that's my worry. But you've got to aim, in my opinion, to make it worthwhile trade to buy it there, 2 things. You've got to expect to take out 95, and you've got to expect it to take out this guy here. And there's no evidence it might not pull back. And I think the Saudis will start to meet again somewhere along the line, I can't remember exact dates. So I personally, there's too many balls in the air for me to go for it. I'm going to probably miss out on this one. Okay, who else was it? Pietro, yeah. I think it's, you've got to say, right, I've got sort of like 65% I'm pro, 40 or 45%, maximum 45% again, preferably 40 and 35%. No, it should be, what, sorry, 65. Yeah. It's got to be 35% maximum of negatives. If it goes over 40%, it's starting to getting a bit 50-50-ish for me. And yeah, I think it's probably, I'm not pro it. Okay. So I go on a bit and try to make sure the wording is understood. Anyone else think there's a buy at this level here? Now you want to short it then, okay? It's come up here. What about a short? Put the stop up there. That's not the problem with short. Never $4 stop. That's no problem. Let's get a stop here. $3.5. You got a problem. You got it down here. It's not enough. Got a bit of a problem there. Not enough. You're going to start looking again round about these levels to make back there again. Is he going to go and take it 80 again, or is he going to hover around here? I think it's a good chance of hovering here. So now your money's tied up. Right, you got a few $100 grand in your account, you're probably tied up in the off chance for a while. Never mind. But if you've got limited sums and it's tied up in something going nowhere, you can't go into the ABC and the BBC and the ITV and the FABC shares or Forex or whatever, because you haven't got enough free margin. It's tied up in this guy here. That's my issue with the short. So that's why I think there's more reasons not to than to do it. Hope you see my reasoning. It makes sense. Not so I don't like it, it's not good enough. I need to try and justify it with some reasoning. So it makes sense, and hope we all learn from it. Right, what's the Nasdaq doing? It's going up again. Oh, the Nasdaq is going up again. It's not helping our cause, is it? So yeah, so again, a bit of a negative. We don't panic. We've been in trading. I've been in trading a long time. I still panic if it goes against me. I don't like it. But remember, you got your stop. If it goes up a couple of dollars, well, so be it. It's just hope the strategy works out. Okay. And you got your position size correct. Don't ever do it. I mean, if you're short in 7 different tech shares and the Nasdaq shoots up, it's a problem. So you're not diversified. It's all in tech. Just bear that in mind. Okay. Yeah, that point there. They're all tech stocks, those. Just don't forget that. So if you're short on all of them and the NAS goes up and the dollar keeps falling, you're not diversified. You're all in one specific sector. Just bear that in mind. So don't go into 5 or 6, 7 different shares in one sector. But as for drifting up, it'll drift up and down. I mean, has the AUD CHF gone up or down through last look? I have the slightest idea till I check. Nobody does. On one. So it's popped up a little bit. Who knows? Huh? So, yeah, that happens. So say it drifting upwards or downwards, as long as you've taken that idea, that strategy, and the noise will look after itself. We can put it back and see. Look at that. But we've probably all gone up because the NAS has gone up a bit. All gone up a bit. What's the next problem? On the 4 hour, we've got a bit of a support there, so that's fine. Amazon, yeah, hovering around there. It's not too bad. Google, still holding there. That's good news. Meta, that's up a few cents. That's still holding. That's not terrible. Microsoft is a bit of a problem. But it's still holding today. This is today, remember, as in 4:30. So it still seems to be trying to hold there. So I hope it does. Okay, so that's about it. F stop probably popped up a bit, not much. So just let it run and see what happens. Okay. If you want to buy it, I'm selling the rally and you want to buy it. I think it's overcooked. It's not broken today above that. It's not broken yesterday above that area. It's overcooked. And if you take an overall sell with the shares, you take an overall selling of the NAS and the S&Ps and the Dows, to buy that, you're going the opposite way. No, I'm not going to be buying these levels, no. I'm going to go opportunity, maybe might come off of it. See, this is moving around the short term, but the overall, it's still a problem out there. Look at 10% in the UK inflation. That's 10%. Remember, their interest rates are lower than ours. So if you're saving, you're going backwards. If you've got a savings account and even a savings account in the UK, you're going backwards pretty damn quick. I think actually our inflation is less than that. Good or less, eh? I think so. I think so, yeah. It's been good the last 2-3 days, you're right. Indecision again, although so no, this is around the clock, sorry. 17 hours been open. Again, indecision. Yeah, keep an eye on it there. Might have something for that tomorrow. Again, we won't send it out, but in the trading room, we can certainly look at it if you can afford it, yeah. Don't forget, it's 10. I know you know that, but some guys might not. So just look here. Left click, right click, specifications, and it's 10. Okay, so that means if you've got to start, it's quite simple actually. Let's say, let's go to the weekly. Yeah. If you put a stop, let's say here, 140 pips away, you need that maybe, I don't know why I'm just saying that, that's $14. Or about, what's that, 220, about 240 Rand a micro. Just bear that in mind. Always check that. But yeah, having said that, just because you can go in on 5-1, you've got inadequate capital, just get margin call. As I say, that's happening. People are going with squat money and getting margin called. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Let's just hang 5. Let's see the NASDAQ run its steam soon. Might maybe dollar consolidate. Might even move up a little bit, and then might come back a bit. I just think these big movements now are short-lived. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. That's why I have a stop loss. Correct position sizing. But I don't know. I have a feeling. I'm with Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan. This is a short-term jumping around and over with a pretty bleak picture internationally looking forward. Big issues out there. They're covering up with financial machinations, and quite frankly, political propaganda. Goldman Sachs. Well, one's a financial conglomerate and the other one's gold. But might have gold as well. I know that gold is part of their portfolio. No, there's no correlation. It's not even a tech stock, it's a financial company. The reason it's come off, as mentioned, was it yesterday, which I'd missed to be fair, was because the profits are the audit was well below the expectation of profit, and had to lay a few people off. See you tomorrow, Gerard. Good enough. Yeah, Goldman Sachs is a $1 billion conglomerate. It's an enormous financial company. They deal in hedge funds, incredible, sophisticated form of computer derivatives, reverse buys on certain instruments, exotic, extremely exotic option, covered position trades. You name it. There's an instrument out there they'll have it play around with some of the best and very well paid in the business. And almost certainly a lot of fiddling going on. We've got that power, almost certainly quite a bit. And they have access to news, like Bloomberg, they produce it. They have their access to news immediately, and then it's sent out to everybody else, so they can react to it quicker. They've got the advantage. You follow the back of those guys. They get all the advantages. Costs are reduced because of sheer volume. But didn't seem to do much good. The share price still came off, eh? Wrong attitude. Always laugh for the big guys when they tumble out. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. Quite an action-packed hour or so since we've been doing this now. Quite a bit to cover. I'm sorry I went too quick for some. We can slow down a bit, ask a few questions, any newer guys, if you're a bit bewildered. Yeah, it's a bit to be learned, but at least you've seen strategy, seeing how we work together. We've seen getting stuff out, and you're understanding a bit more, because a lot of people are trading in a quite a minefield of trading with highly leveraged instruments without understanding. It's like putting a kid into a Ferrari and telling them to go at full speed. Nothing wrong with going full speed if you're on the autobahn and you know how to drive. You know? Yeah, it's pretty aggressive jumping around, but yeah, it's come off a bit. Might be a bit of a recovery. We'll see. We took the idea, and that's it. And look at this on the daily one. It's only opened up since 40 minutes ago. It's already got a few sellers coming in. Probably out. Popped up. A few sellers are coming in. We'll see. Anyway, we got the stop. It's it's about $40 away. It's got room to breathe. So yeah, we'll see. GBP CHF trying to break down. If you just hold below that 1.13, you might get some decent traction out of that. Being a bit bloody slow, hasn't it? Not really much movement on it, but anyway, still in it. See how it goes. You might come out a winner. This one's hovering. It's in the back of the break of 64, but it's in the profit. And the NZD one. It's in the profit, just a bit slow sideways. Okay, no, that sometimes happens. US dollar, Japanese yen. Yen's gone on the weak side, the dollar's gone on the weak side. So I'm not sure we'll buy or sell this thing yet. I think there's a possibility a bit of upside. Hit the TP, it's come back a bit. I think we've got the CAD JPY out. I think maybe we just sit tight on that and not get too cute with it just yet. Okay. You think so, Marius? I'm sticking with strategy. It bumps up and down. So I think it's moved enough to really say that. You know, a couple of dollar movement on $100+ or 100, whatever the price is share. There's not really room for giving that. It could bounce up 2, 3 and then come off again. But yeah, could do. That's your choice. I'm happy with the strategy. Might come back and bite. Who knows? Right. So I'll leave that. CAD JPY. We get any more bounce out of that now we've dived in. Actually, it's come back now we've done that. Thought that would happen. Typical. That's called Merton's law. Yeah, we've got the strategy. See how it works out. Bit annoying now, but we've got a couple of TP hit today. Maybe we'll get a prettier picture tomorrow. No, that's no. That's why you have you got your fundamentals? I've printed before. Look at the fundamentals. I'll print it again for you guys. Keep an eye on that. That was a Japanese fundamental coming out. There's going the dovish stance. That's how hence the weakening of it. And then other stuff strengthened around it as some of the pullback there and some profit taking. Here's a DXY. Should all have that anyway. Always check it out. They won't suddenly have another announcement come out 5 minutes later. There you are. Whatever, like it. You know, if somebody said the annual general meeting is so much fun, we should have it once a week. No, so they won't have like the jobs report coming out every day or the World Cup coming out every day. It just comes out certain periods. Okay, understood. Fantastic. Okay, and yeah, it's very tough, I know, but to try and understand the noise of the markets, the ups and downs, the noise, it's going to happen. You know, I said before, it's tough. I've been doing it for a while. It's still tough. You see, psychologically, when you leave the house to go somewhere, after half an hour, you expect to be further away from the house than you were when you started. Trading's not like that. You can be a hell of a long way in half an hour, and then you go out for half an hour, come back, and you're back to where you started. The back and forth can really get in your nerves psychologically. But you just got to say, I've got my volumes correct. I've worked out my calculated positions. I've got my strategy. My stop is out of the way. Let it do its thing. If we get stopped out, I don't like it. I know it's going to happen. It's part of trading. Gets into profit after a decent run profit, not too close. I modify to reduce risk. So eventually it's entry or better. So, and then I can worry about other stuff. Yeah, that's just the way. But the ups and downs, looking at the reds and blues on the thing, can do your head in, to be honest. So just bear that in, and make sure you always trade the money you can afford to lose. If you can't afford to lose it, you don't trade. Simple as that. This is high risk. If you can't afford to lose it, put in a bank account. I had one guy come up to me a couple of months ago. I really want to do this, but I must make sure I don't lose any money. So I was up front with him and said, you can't do this then. If you can't afford to, if you're risking 100 rand, you can't afford to risk 100 rand, don't do it. In fact, don't do it at all. Right, that's what the stop was for. You're prepared to say, here's what happens if it goes against me. Okay, so I hope that's all clear. Okay, sorry guys, I rattled on a bit. Mike, Marius, Knowledge, Koenig's got a few guys left. Pietro, Peter, any questions? Anything you'd like to clarify? You'd like to look at? Anyone to ask on? Any Q&A? You're good, Marius. Good knowledge, good stuff. But you got your own mind, Marius. You think some upside. Well, you were right there. You do USD, and now I was a bit nervous in the CAD. You did very well on that. So yeah. But I'm going to stick with strategy. I'm not going to have to get the trades out and suddenly change floor cross halfway through, change ship halfway through. I'm okay with the strategy. We'll see how it goes. I posted here, there's a Q&A on Quick Trade coming up later. I'm attending, being held by the CEO, but I'm definitely attending. You should have all received a WhatsApp on it, but I'm just going to see. I've got it here as well. Let's just have a look. Just give me a second. to copy and paste. If you all got it, well, just copy and paste it for you. But where is it now? Hang on, where have I got it? Okay, I think it starts at 7:30. Click onto that link if you haven't already received it. You have read it, obviously ignore it. Yeah, that's 7:30. CEO's Harvest from Pletson. He's doing a Q&A on quick trade. Anyone's interested in that? This is 7:30 tonight. You've got, unless you're having supper or you've got other stuff to do, or you're cooking or whatever, or you've got load shedding, I don't know. But and I'm going to attend as well. But he'll be the host. Okay, so you took a bit of smack there, yeah. Oh, hope it continues. Plus, you're picking up more experience and more knowledge, and getting more consistent, and that's the main thing. Good. So there you are. If anyone wants to join that, hope to see you in there. But I'm not the host; it's the CEO's the host. But I've been asked to be in there, so there we are. If anyone wants to join, 7:30 tonight. Okay, great. Cheers, guys. Anything else, or should we call it off? Anything else? We can chat about it. I came off a bit, did it? It's come off quite a bit for you to get kicked out. Okay, right under 1915. Never mind, we made a profit anyway. Some guys might attain. It's so close. Eh? What a pity. It got up to here, didn't it? 1926. Nearly made it to TP. But anyway, hit out there, sell the profits. So be it. Okay, all right. Keep fingers crossed. And don't see you on the Q&A tonight. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 9:30. Happy with that, guys? If there's something else, please tell me now. I'll hang on in there. If not, I'd rather let the market do what the market's got to do. Thanks, Nick. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're learning stuff. Sorry, it's a bit busy and rapid today, but it happens that way sometimes. And some is very quiet. Some is intermediary. Okay. Catch you tomorrow. Cheers. See you, Morris.